I admit I may not have spent as much time in a courtroom as you have.
That's a good one.
I was also recognized with a Special Achievement Award by the Department of Justice. You remember the Department of Justice, right? It's the agency that's been pursuing you for decades. And like Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, I've had a history of prosecuting sex offenders.
Uh-oh.
So thank you for keeping. I'll even give you a free View mug. Not to be confused, though, with a mug shot. Because that's your area.
Sunny Hostin just did what few have the courage to do. She openly challenged Donald Trump's public image on live national television. With sharp wit, she referenced his ongoing courtroom drama and delivered a mugshot punchline that left the audience in stunned silence. But this moment wasn't just about legal woes. It struck a deeper, more delicate chord, one that touches on the fragile dynamics of Trump's personal life. Why did her comment resonate so powerfully? And what does it reveal about his marriage and the conspicuous absence of the First Lady? These aren't just rumors. They're based on public facts. And what follows takes an even darker turn. Because what Sunny says next doesn't just make headlines. It threatens to unravel the entire facade.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the First Lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the First Lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly.
If you're intrigued or just bracing for what Sunny drops next, make sure to subscribe, because things are only getting more complicated from here. After taking aim at Trump's ego and unchecked authority, Sunny targeted the one thing he has: no control over Melania, with biting humor. She suggested that the First Lady seems entirely disinterested, not just in the role or the holiday traditions, but perhaps even in the man himself. While Sunny acknowledged it was speculation, the silence surrounding Melania speaks volumes. Because when the First Lady avoids the spotlight and side-eye moments go viral, it's no longer just uncomfortable, it's political.
You know who has been bragging all over the campaign trail about how he's the one that overturned Roe v. Wade, but apparently his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir. Take a look.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
It turns out the real drama isn't confined to the courtroom, it's unfolding in the living room. While Donald Trump takes to the spotlight, boasting about overturning Roe v. Wade, Melania Trump quietly releases a memoir-style video promoting personal freedom, subtly echoing the message, my body, my choice. Call it coincidence or calculated defiance, but either way, it feels less like a supportive statement and more like a passive-aggressive press release. When the First Lady starts sounding like the opposition, it's no longer just a marriagitis. A split-screen contradiction, and in the world of politics, that eerie silence from the East Wing, it speaks louder than any campaign rally.
He's just this crybaby with this complex of victimhood, right? Here he is, this billionaire, supposedly, there's this, there's that. All he does is bitch and moan and complain and whine and nag.
He's a very small man. He's a very small
Well,
man.
fortunately, I don't know how small he is, but I know he's not big enough to be president.
Yeah.
Well,
He's clearly very focused on this show because we keep calling him out, and we're going to keep doing it.
He said in that clip, every president provides their birth certificate. No, they don't. But do you know what they do provide? They provide their taxes and their medical records. And that is something that he lost track of.
At this stage, even the excuses are wearing thin. Melania has vanished from the spotlight. The memoir contradicts the campaign narrative, and Trump, still complaining, still casting himself as the victim. For a man who claims to have it all, he certainly spends a great deal of time in grievance mode. No tax returns, no medical disclosures, no transparency, and still, somehow, no accountability. It's not just the marriage that seems exhausted, it's the entire performance. But if you think that was the climax, think again. Because what Sunny said next didn't just shake Trump, it struck at the very heart of his carefully crafted image. Stay tuned.
Donald Trump, I want to thank you for personally telling so many lies and committing so many alleged crimes and providing us with material on a daily basis. You help us do our jobs, and I'm so appreciative.
Sunny Hostin began with a thank you, one that may have sounded sarcastic, but could just as easily have been sincere. After all, when a former president lies as frequently as he posts, evades responsibility as quickly as he makes decisions, and leaves behind more scandals than signed policies, he unintentionally makes the job of political commentary significantly easier. But what followed wasn't a joke. It was something far more pointed.
After Trump was inaugurated, already proposed amending the 22nd Amendment to allow Trump to serve a third term. I think he doesn't want he's not going to say that J.D. Vance is a successor because he thinks he's his own successor.
But doesn't that mean that Obama can run also?
Well, you would think so because part of the resolution says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times. And the argument is that Trump needs more time to accomplish his agenda and reverse the policies of the Biden administration. Now, it's going to be very hard to do that, to change the 22nd Amendment, which is enshrined in the Constitution. But there are a couple of ways that he could try to get there. He could just try to stay in office, right?
The truly alarming part isn't that someone suggested giving Trump a third term, it's that the idea surfaced just 3 days into his first. As Sunny Hostin highlighted, this wasn't some quiet rumor. It was a public proposal delivered, with a rationale that sounded like a script cut from The Apprentice. The argument? That Trump simply needs more time to undo Biden's policies? But more time for what, exactly? Another round of political turmoil? Another season of executive order? Theatrics. And if you think flirting with constitutional boundaries was the most dangerous part, think again. Sunny isn't finished. What comes next is grounded in publicly available statements, confirmed reports, and Trump's own words. And it strikes where it matters most: your finances, your children's education, and the very issues he claimed to have solved. Stay focused, because the next part doesn't just raise questions. It demands answers.
Numbers are down. U.S. employers cut more jobs, 172,000 jobs last month, than any February since 2009 during the global financial crisis.
To all those people who are out of work? Yeah. And that's just in television.
They're going to lose their homes. They're going to lose everything. Stocks are down. The recession risks that he's saying that there maybe not. He doesn't want to say anything. Well, the people that do study that say that the recession risk is now about 40%. Yeah, about 40%. So it's just fascinating to me that more people aren't talking about the fact that he is tanking the economy that he got.
People are talking about it.
And we are suffering.
Yeah.
While economists sounded the alarm over a looming recession, Donald Trump sidestepped the issue as if it were a subpoena. Sunny Hostin didn't hold back. She laid out the reality in stark terms. Jobs disappearing, families losing their homes, markets in decline. And yet, Trump remained fixated on his favorite subjects himself and his personal grievances. This isn't just denial, it's deliberate distraction. And in the midst of economic uncertainty, that kind of performance may be the most costly production of his career.
These countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, I think that Congress should take over negotiations. Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate.
Well, you know, I don't know if they're all kissing his ass to do that.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. He bankrupted. What we keep on failing to remember is that he bankrupted 2 casinos. He had 6 bankruptcies. Nobody does that. He's just not a good business person. He doesn't understand economics. His professor at Wharton Business School basically said he was the dumbest student he'd ever had in his career. These are just facts. So Trump definitely doesn't understand economics. He's listening to someone who you say doesn't understand economics. And so there is no end plan. There is no game plan. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He couldn't negotiate himself out of a paper bag. But the issue here...
Sunny Hostin just did what few dare to do. She openly called out Donald Trump's public image live on national television. With biting sarcasm, she mocked his courtroom drama and delivered a mugshot punchline that left the studio in stunned silence. But this wasn't just another jab at his legal troubles. It struck deeper, a subtle blow to the fragile image of a man whose personal life is unraveling just as publicly. Why did her words land so hard? What do they reveal about Trump's marriage and the First Lady, who's been noticeably absent from the spotlight? This isn't speculation. It's all real, all documented. And Sunny's next words didn't just sting, they shook the entire narrative. Meanwhile, as recession fears rise, Trump continues sidestepping economic reality. Sunny's not buying it. 6 bankruptcies, 2 failed casinos, and still no concrete plan, just spin, just noise. Even his former Wharton professor reportedly described him as the worst student he ever had. And this is the man many once trusted to manage a global economy. At this point, the only thing growing under Trump's so-called economic vision is the punchline.